Cette rencontre revêt un caractère tout particulier puisqu'elle coïncide avec la célébration du 20e anniversaire de cette organisation. Permettez-moi à cette occasion de souhaiter la bienvenue à l'ensemble des délégations venues du monde entier pour partager leur expertise, leur vision et leur engagement envers le développement durable du secteur avicole. Le choix du Royaume du Maroc pour l'organisation de ce prestigieux Conseil témoigne non seulement de la reconnaissance du rôle croissant de notre pays dans cette filière stratégique, mais aussi du potentiel considérable qu'offre l'Afrique en matière de production et de consommation avicole. Le Conseil international de la volaille, en tant que plateforme internationale de référence, joue un rôle central dans la structuration et la promotion du secteur avicole à l'échelle internationale. Son engagement en faveur d'une aviculture durable, efficiente et équitable en fait un partenaire stratégique tant pour le Maroc que pour l'ensemble des pays africains désireux de renforcer leur souveraineté alimentaire et leur compétitivité. Mesdames et Messieurs, au Maroc, la filière avicole constitue l'un des piliers majeurs de la sécurité alimentaire en protéines animales. Elle assure l'autosuffisance du pays avec un taux de couverture de 100% en viande blanche et en œufs de consommation, génère un chiffre d'affaires de près de 42 milliards de dirhams et contribue à la création de 500 000 emplois directs et indirects. Ces résultats sont le fruit d'une vision stratégique d'investisseurs et d'investissements soutenus et d'un partenariat public-privé exemplaire, incarné notamment par la collaboration constante entre le ministère et la Fédération. La filière avicole s'inscrit pleinement dans la dynamique impulsée par la stratégie Génération Green 2020-2030 lancée par Sa Majesté le roi Mohammed VI, que Dieu l'assiste. Cette stratégie accorde une place centrale au capital humain, à l'innovation, à l'investissement durable et à la valorisation des filières à fort potentiel. La tenue de cette réunion au Maroc revêt une portée significative. En tant que porte d'entrée vers l'Afrique, notre pays joue le rôle de hub stratégique reliant les marchés africains, européens et internationaux. Fort de ces infrastructures modernes, d'une réglementation en constante évolution et d'accords commerciaux avantageux, le Maroc se positionne comme un acteur clé dans le développement de la filière avicole sur le continent et réaffirme son engagement dans le cadre de la coopération Sud-Sud, axe prioritaire de sa politique extérieure. À travers la Confédération des organisations africaines pour le développement de l'aviculture, CADA, créée en mai 2023 et présidée par la FISA, notre pays œuvre à fédérer des initiatives africaines pour structurer un marché envolé, un marché avicole intégré, résilient et durable. Le siège de cette confédération, établi aux zoopoles de Casablanca, constitue un levier stratégique pour transfert des compétences, la formation et le développement conjoint de projets. Depuis 2017, plus de 3 500 professionnels issus de pays d'Afrique de l'Ouest et centrale ont été formés aux zoopoles, totalisant plus de 55 000 journées de formation. Des projets concrets ont pu voir le jour, notamment des fermes avicoles, des couvoirs et des usines de fabrication d'aliments, renforçant ainsi la structuration de la filière au niveau régional. Mesdames et Messieurs, malgré les défis que nous partageons, changement climatique, volatilité des marchés, pression sur les ressources et évolution des exigences des consommateurs, l'aviculture demeure un levier essentiel de développement durable et de croissance inclusive. Je suis fermement convaincu que les échanges qui auront lieu dans le cadre de cette conférence permettront de tracer de nouvelles perspectives pour une aviculture plus performante, plus intégrée et tournée vers l'avenir. Je vous souhaite plein succès dans vos travaux et que cette rencontre renforce notre action collective au service d'une aviculture résiliente, innovante et au cœur des enjeux alimentaires du XXIe siècle. Je vous remercie.
Caroline. Well, welcome again. Thank you for joining us in this meeting. And now is my task to going on with our meeting, and we are starting our General Assembly, that is our IPC meeting in Casablanca. I would like that for sure we'll have some pictures from here, but for me, it's an honor to see this room, plenty of people with more than 248 attendees. Is our record in the history, and we have more than 45 countries here represented. Just for you to remember, in Buenos Aires, the last meeting, we have 28 countries. Now we are with 45 countries. We have in Buenos Aires 160 attendees. Now we are in 248 attendees. It's a great achievement for our organization. I'd like to start saying thanks to Mr. Youssef Alaoui, that is the president of FISA, that is joined the minister in the press conference, but all the team of FISA, we want to thank and say our very, very thankful that we have our thanks for the support we received. It's one of the biggest meeting room, all the structure that you gave for us, and we thank so much about this opportunity. I'd like also to thanks to our sponsors, and so I'd like to thanks to SIVA, MSD Animal Health, Elanco, U.S. Poultry and IPPA, International Poultry Pork Exposition, Boehringer Ingelheim, Aviagen, CSB System, Rabobank, Cobb, Dow Pharma, James Way, Mitsui, U.S. Soybean Export Council, U.S. Grain Council, and our media partner, Watt Global with Greg Watt. we are here in a very special moment. Of course, to me, as president, it's a very special moment, my last meeting that I will coordinate as president. The next one, I will have the honor that my vice president and the next president, Richard Griffiths, will be in charge of that meeting. But for me, and not just for me, but for the IPC to see this room, to see all the countries here united, talking about the common issues is an incredible achievement. When you look in the past, and I have here Robin, Peter, Tagi is coming, a lot of people that start this in the very beginning. We saw, I remember, on behalf of Brazil, was Christian Lobauer. And I replaced him in 1 year after, but in this 19 years that I have been in IPC and the 20 years that we have of existence of our institute, our organization, I saw a growth, but a very consistent growth. And I can nominate some, maybe a lot of you that are here and say, Thor, do you remember that time when you were in the beginning, Jorgen? In the beginning, IPC was more for just to see each other, to start developing confidence as we develop with Prozer and PAN in common issues. This is great to see this, to look at the past and see how better we are today, Lara, than we are in the past. That we have here Marilia, our first General Secretary, but now we have Nicolo, our tremendous General Secretary, that is representing IPC, that we have a face of IPC, not only the face of the president, but we have IPC, we have staff, and we have the majority to celebrate 20 years. We have, as Nicolo made yesterday, and with Dennis, with Elisabetta and Caroline, the report what we made in the last year. It was very good. And when you look to the poultry situation, the chicken and the poultry situation in the world, what do you see? We see, I was without my glasses. I forgot my glasses, but it's okay. No, give me the glass, Marcelo, please. This is something that we see in the IPC. A guy like me that when he started in IPC don't need glasses, and now I need it. Marcelo, where is my glasses? Don't you have it? Oh yes, this is worth, because I was in my pocket. This is the good things that came with age, because the alternative is worse, and then it's good to become old, and then I'm very happy to become old, and we are here, Beert and Stig. We have such good things that we made in this journey, working for food security, and in the beginning, maybe I think maybe some people said, "What do you look when you look to the IPC?" And I need to make this reference. I'm missing so much in Sumner here. He should be here as well. But when I see people said, "Wow, you are good friends of Jim. What do you see in the IPC?" I see, I have on this journey. I think that the best thing that we got is the trust between ourselves. Of course, we are competitors. Brazil is the largest exporter. Before it was the United States. But it does not mind about this. The more thing that we are in the same boat. We are in the same way to produce food for our people. In some cases that we can export. European Union export, Team Brazil export, United States export. Now we have Thailand, a big exporter. Russia is starting to export. It does not matter. And some countries don't export anything, but they produce and they have the same problems that you have all the country. When we remember, we have a research in the past and ask, who have a problem with the myth of hormones? And everyone has. There is only one country that didn't answer. Remember, Marilia, They said, there is one country that say we don't have a problem. But you know what happened? He didn't understand the question because they have. And so this is common issues led us to work for the food security. Of course, now we are improving our network. To be here gave us a good network. Not only a commercial network, not a political network, but it's a network to help each other with exchange of knowledge, with exchange of experiences, and showing to the world. And we have the pleasure to have here Madame Montserrat, that will represent OMSA, HOA, Mr. FAO, and then, sorry, I forgot the name. This is it. But here we have FAO and W and World Animal Health Organization represented with IPC. This is a very good achievement that we have. And when you have the production, when you look to the production of poultry, in 2024, we have, is the USDA data, 116 million tons of pork meat. We have 103 million tons of poultry meat, and we have 61 million tons of beef. But for 2025, the pork meat will be stable, will actually decrease a little bit. And the beef meat, it will decrease a little bit. But the poultry meat, the chicken meat, will increase to 104, will increase. The only protein that will increase 1 million tons. And this is the way that we are going on. Which is the way? The way to become the most consumed protein in the world. And why? Of course, we know about the religious regarding to the other proteins, but chicken and duck and turkey and all the poultry proteins, they are the most affordable for the people and maybe the most sustainable as well. This is what we are doing here. We are working on harmonize this speech. When you look in our plan for avian influenza prevention, we are trying to spread to the world the common perspective on it, and to tell to everyone that it's possible and have a science basis to say this disease is a bird disease, not a people disease. You can be infected with avian influenza eating chicken. It's impossible. But we need to say this, and all of us need to say the same thing. Because if you have some, how I can say this, an outbreak that spread this disease of the birds, and you have more infection on human beings, we need to avoid that people understand that they need to stop to eating. And we need to avoid this. This is what we're doing in our work. We have a lot of common issues. And in this morning, Caroline asked us, what are the lessons learned? I think we have a lot of learning. We grow with IPC. We grow as an organization, and we grow as our country. We grow in respect to each other. And this is why I'm speaking here to say a welcome to everyone, to say that we have a very good history, but I forecast that we have a much bigger, a much better future. And this future is a future that we believe. We are here not because we intend just to travel, just to have some good times, join the friends, because in these 20 years, we become friends. We become good friends. But it's not only this. We know that we have a common purpose. And the main purpose of us is to produce food, to give nutrients to the people of our countries and help the other countries as well. I was talking with Mr. Tanawat about this. FAO make a tremendous work on it, but there is still more than 700 million persons in hunger today in the world. And there will be another 2 billion persons arriving. And how we can handle and to feed these people with essential nutrients without jeopardizing the environmental. And when I think on it, I look and to myself, and I respect the vegans and the vegetarians, but the only way to do it is giving protein to them. There is a lot of children that just want a piece of protein. For to have something like the choline that helps to connect the brains and help to develop the health of the people. And then people, my first speech was welcoming you here and opening this technical session of IPC is say this. I'm very proud and very honored to be here as president to celebrate our 20th anniversary tonight. In the past was gala dinner, now is the president dinner, but I hope that you all join us in the dinner tonight because we'll celebrate this 20th anniversary. But much more than celebrate, we are working here. We are working, we are making some things different. In the past, sometimes we don't work so much, but it was necessary to develop all the trustship between us. It was a phase, but this phase is in the past. Now we are looking to the future. I see Richard, the next president, very focused on develop the image of IPC. We strengthen our position. Now we have Elisabetta and Caroline working on it, and we strengthen our position in the world. Because now there is a lot of governments that respect IPC, that respect IPC position. I saw in my country, people say, what IPC thinks about this? I say, oh my gosh, what is this? This is very good. Because sometimes I say, do you know IPC? No, I don't know what is IPC. Now people said, what IPC is doing about avian influenza outbreaks, what IPC is doing about the shortage of grains, or what are you thinking about this? What are you thinking, as you see the speech today, about new technologies, about artificial intelligence, about the way to produce more with less resource. This is what you're doing here. This is what you're doing and becoming every time more and more the voice of the poultry industry of the world. This is what he thought in the past, Robin, when Tagi Lisgard talked the very first time with Dean Sumner more than 20 years ago. They say, we have an idea. And then they find some friends as Robin and all of the others that were in the beginning. And they started first meetings. And we need to talk about this as well, but in the first meetings, the social program was bigger than the work program in IPC. Yes, you know, but it was true because it's a way to gather everyone together. Now we are here, and of course we have a lot of work to do, and I'm sure that you don't want to hear me, you are coming for to hear the speakers, and you have a very good program for today and for tomorrow. We'll be honored with great lectures as we have, and then I know that today we'll have, just checking about this, we have this President Dinner organized by FISA tonight at the Sacred Heart Cathedral of Casablanca. The buses will be from the Hyatt provided, and I think it will be, someone helping me on the time. Which time? 6:45. 6:45, yes, say a quarter to 7, 6:45 p.m. On the lobby, we'll go to the President Dinner the place is Sacred Heart Cathedral of Casablanca, a very special place, sponsored by FISA, and I know that everyone will be there. After tomorrow, we'll have 2 visits, and so unfortunately we are full capacity, and so we have 2 visits, 2 groups in the morning, regrouping at the lunch at Avipol. And then we'll have 1 group that will go to the La Fonda for the process planting, and another group will go to Sahel Slaughterhouse. Of course, they are all organized. It's for not only for tomorrow, it's after tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have a very good schedule as well. And I'd like to introduce this essential poultry discussion. I'd like to invite my dear friend and Vice President of IPC and CEO of the British Poultry Council, Richard Griffith, to be the moderator of this panel. And you can, Richard, please join us to start our works here. And I'd like to thank you so much for being here, for attending this meeting, and for make IPC much better, much bigger, and fulfilling our objectives, that is working together, helping the food security of the world, and being the voice of poultry industry in the world. Thank you so much, people. Richard.
Thank you, Ricardo, for such an inspiring speech, and a phrase that I picked up from American colleagues: thank you for your leadership. It's been inspiring over the last 18 months. We are now moving on to our session on strengthening the role of poultry production in a sustainable agri-food system. I'm delighted to have 2 colleagues join. I could ask them to come up to the stage. Sorry, Nicolo's signalling at me. You're going to have to speak up. I'm going deaf.
No voice. It's okay. It's all right. You can go on.
This might be a short session. I can spread it out for a while if we like. Let me introduce my colleagues who have come to the stage. Thank you. First is Tawfiq Al-Akchabi, who is the Director of the Production Chain Development at the Moroccan Ministry of Agriculture, Maritime Fisheries, Rural Development, Water and Forests. And Thanawat Tiensin is Director of the Animal Production and Health Division at the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, in Rome, as well as Assistant to the Director General. I wonder if I could ask for have we got microphones on there? Good. Is there another microphone there that I could?
It worked very well. I think you can hear me from back. Done.
Thank you. We'll start from over here. Welcome both of you, and we really appreciate your joining us. for what I hope is quite a stimulating discussion. We'll start with the big picture, I think, and a simple, well, what might be simple, but opening question. We're here as the poultry industry, representing many countries around the world, but why is agriculture, food production, poultry production important to Morocco and this broader region that we're in? Tough one.
Merci. Merci beaucoup. Bonjour à tout le monde et je vous souhaite plein réussite pour votre congrès annuel et bon anniversaire pour ce 20e anniversaire. D'abord, je vais parler de l'agriculture d'une manière générale au Maroc. L'agriculture, c'est 15% du PIB national. C'est 40% de l'emploi au Maroc et c'est 80% de l'emploi dans le milieu rural. Et je pense rien que ces chiffres montrent l'importance de ce secteur. L'aviculture représente une part importante de sources de protéines animales et une industrie qui est très bien développée, très bien structurée à l'échelle nationale. Maintenant, à l'échelle régionale, nous partageons beaucoup de similitudes avec les pays voisins. Et à partir de là, nous partageons les mêmes risques, les mêmes défis. Et à partir de là, ça constitue un secteur de coopération privilégié pour le Maroc, notamment de la coopération sud-sud. Le développement rural aussi tire profit du secteur agricole, comme vous le savez tous.
Thank you. And perhaps, Thanawat, you have a perspective from the outside.
Thank you very much. I think after you listening to our colleagues from Morocco, why agriculture is very important and why food is important, as the President already mentioned, today, when you start, after you wake up, I'm sure that you will check your email or your mobile phone first. And then you go to bathroom, do your business. But the next thing that you will continue, you start to eat. And then during lunchtime, what you do? You eat again. And then, President already mentioned, today all of you are invited for presidential gala dinners. And you continue to eat. And that's why you can see that most of our times is about food. And today what you are doing to produce food to feed 8 billion people today. And by 10 billion people by 2050, next 20 years, you still have a lot of challenge. How to produce enough to feed 10 billion people. And that's why the role of poultry industry, of international poultry councils is critical. Because today you can see that food that we produce, 95% come from agriculture. And that's why today when we talk about producing enough food to feed people, we need to think how we produce better, how to have a better production, to make sure that we have safe food, nutritious food, and also to make sure that it's a healthy food. And I'm sure that you are producing chicken meat, poultry meat, as President already mentioned, you produce good food, healthy food, and nutritious food. But it's not enough to have a better production. At the same time, you also need to have a better nutrition because our consumer more than need only have food. And that's why today, 2 billion people have obesity and overweight. 2.4 billion people have a problem of cannot get access to healthy diets. And that's why in terms of better nutrition is very critical to make sure that we produce better, have better production, better nutrition. The next one, how to produce for better environment. Because today all the livestock sectors, because of my portfolio at FAO is the director of Animal Production and Health Division. You know that over the past decades, we have been criticized about the way that livestock sector, poultry sector produce. They mention about greenhouse gas emissions, about water, use too much water, about deforestation, anything else, welfare, animal disease that you are facing at the moment, avian influenza, food safety issues, use, overuse, misuse of antibiotics. And that's why today, in terms of better environment, to highlight that poultry sector, livestock sector, move, change, and transform to have a better environment. You see, better production, better nutrition, better environments. And the last one, also how to have a better life. Better life is not only for our consumers, but also to make sure that our producers, farmers, have a better life, have a profit, what they are producing. Because when you're talking about sustainability, it's not talking about greenhouse gas emission or environment only. But to make sure that business can go on, it means sustainability. Sustainability of each of you who are sitting here to continue to produce good food, nutritious food, and healthy food to people. This one is the overall idea that I can give you. I'm sure that my moderator will give more difficult question for both of us. Merci beaucoup, monsieur.
Thank you. Yes, we're working up at the difficulty of questions. You've raised a couple of interesting points there, Thanwat. Question to Tawfik there. Based on the challenges sort of around nutrition, environment, productivity, what do you see as in Morocco as the main challenges, the priorities that you need to address to boost all of those elements around nutrition, environment, productivity?
Je pense, aujourd'hui, je ne vais pas vous l'apprendre, mais on vit dans un environnement qui est très vulnérable, qui est très incertain, complexe et ambigu. Et en même temps, parce qu'on est interconnecté, on est interdépendant sur le réseau international, mais en même temps, l'agriculture est une activité qui n'est pas très agile, elle est très complexe et s'installe durablement. À partir de là, les défis et les menaces qui pèsent sur le secteur agricole deviennent très fortes et à fort impact. On peut citer aujourd'hui les changements climatiques avec des événements de plus en plus ayant une amplitude très importante. Et surtout la sécheresse. Au Maroc, on a connu 7 ans de sécheresse continue. Ça a impacté notre cheptel ovin, bovin. C'est venu suite à la crise Covid, ce qui a encore amplifié les dégâts sur le cheptel. Et je pense, heureusement pour nous, on a eu un secteur de volaille qui était bien structuré, qui est bien là, qui a su remplacer partiellement le sourcing en viande pour la population. Le deuxième risque et menace, et je pense là aussi on le vit au Maroc, c'est le risque phytosanitaire et le risque des maladies. Je pense qu'on a plusieurs cas qu'on peut citer, soit la chenille qui a attaqué, qui a ravagé tout le cactus au Maroc, il y a la xylella qui menace un peu aux frontières du Maroc, la fée frateuse, vous êtes tous des spécialistes de la question, mais peut-être pas moi. Et donc, et aussi l'histoire de la résistance aux antibiotiques, qui est une menace réelle pour le secteur agricole. Le troisième point est la dégradation des ressources. On a besoin d'eau et de sol pour produire ce que vont manger les animaux, ce que va manger l'être humain. Et malheureusement, force est de constater que le sol se dégrade, soit par érosion, soit par salinité. On a de grandes superficies qui sont perdues au Maroc ou dans le monde ailleurs. Et ça s'accompagne aussi par une perte de biodiversité qui est très sensible. À l'époque, j'étais encore étudiant, on lisait ça dans la littérature, mais aujourd'hui, on le vit, on le constate de nos propres yeux, c'est mesurable à tous les échelles. Et je pense le dernier défi, et ça tire son origine de l'interconnexion des économies, c'est l'instabilité des prix. On est dépendant de certains céréales pour produire nos poulets. Donc le jour où le prix des céréales va augmenter, nos éleveurs n'arrivent pas à suivre. Et donc là aussi, c'est des menaces réelles qui pèsent sur le secteur agricole au Maroc. Maintenant, pour les défis, c'est pas si je passe aux défis maintenant, c'est qu'on a une population qui grandit de jour en jour. Il va falloir que l'agriculture, on ne peut la nourrir que par l'agriculture, et donc il faut que l'agriculture soit plus performante, soit plus adaptée. Le deuxième défi, je pense, c'est la durabilité environnementale. On doit produire et préserver le milieu à partir duquel on puise les éléments pour assurer cette production. L'un des défis aussi, ou des menaces, c'est l'accès au financement, notamment pour nos petits producteurs. Tous les producteurs, je pense, la question elle est universelle. La FAO a bien traité le sujet sur tous ces aspects, pas uniquement sur le secteur de la volaille. Plus on est petit, moins on a accès au financement, ou bien le coût de financement devient exorbitant pour moderniser son système de production. Et moins on investit, moins on accède à la technologie, et moins on se modernise. Et le dernier point, c'est l'intéressement des jeunes à l'agriculture. Il y a de moins en moins, en tout cas je parle pour le Maroc, le métier d'agriculteur est un métier pénible, métier agriculteur ou éleveur, et les jeunes ne veulent plus de ce genre de métier. Et demain, je pense qu'on des ateliers comme celui-là, ça nous pousse aussi à réfléchir comment on va produire demain sans main-d'œuvre qui est intéressée, sans agriculteurs qui sont passionnés par leur métier.
Thank you. You brought up a subject there at the end about appeal of the industry and how attracting new people into that was mentioned this morning by my friend Gonzalo as a common problem around the world. And poultry across the world does face a number of common issues. So how from an FAO perspective or a global perspective, can you support countries with their specific issues, but also start to help them address the bigger issues?
Sure. Thank you very much. And FAO, we have 196 member countries, and we have more than 150 country offices around the world operating to support the countries. And even though one of my colleagues, Mr. Benkumi, he is here, because our role, how we're going to support the countries in terms of building enabling environment and also policies to support food and agriculture sectors, and even though for livestock sectors. And that's why I myself am from Thailand. And that's why I know my Thai colleagues very well, because we worked together for a long time. But when I joined FAO, we know that livestock sector, poultry sectors has been criticized. And how we're going to support countries, producers, farmers, private sectors to have an enabling environment to continue the business. And that's why at FAO, last 2 years, we launched the Sustainable Livestock Transformation Initiative. And also it's the first time that we have the global conference on sustainable livestock transformation in September 2023. And we have more than 30 ministers of agriculture, minister of livestock, to discuss and talk what is the future of livestock sector, what's the futures of poultry sector. Because we need to change our own narrative. As President mentioned, I remember when I worked in Thailand as well, every year we will receive a fake news about using a lot of hormones, in poultry sectors, using a lot of antibiotics and blah, blah, in pigs, in poultry, in dairy sector. And that's why if the sectors don't give correct information, consumer will continue to believe that, oh, your sector is bad, produce bad food, produce bad meat. And that's why the whole sector need to build evidence-based narrative. You need to keep consumers and even though policy makers, decision makers to understand how you produce better food. And you also build a better future for people because you are feeding people. You are the machine who driving the economic growth of the countries. And that's why the role of FAO, we work with your government. But FAO, we also working with the government and also with the private sectors to have investment. Because FAO, we have the investment center that our portfolio compared to your business is very small, is around only 5 to 7 billion US dollar that we provide support to countries to develop their business, to develop their infrastructure linked to food and agriculture. And that's why just last 2 months, I went to Washington, D.C. to talk with World Bank and also to talk with International Finance Corporation. Because today, the cost of finance or loans for livestock sector is costly. Because every time when the bank going to give loan to investor, they say that, oh, no, I cannot. Because if I approve something for livestock sectors, tomorrow NGO and activists will come to my bank. And they will complain that, why you support this and you support that. And that's why we need to build new narrative, balanced narrative, and science-based narrative to keep government informed, to keep producers informed, to make sure that they see the livestock sectors have a future. You see that in terms of investment, if you see the future, people want to invest more. If you don't see futures, why we have to invest? And that's why today, when you are struggling with the new tariff threat that we are facing in many countries, 30%, 20% increase, it will impact to your sector directly because the cost of feed ingredients will increase. And also the purchasing powers, because in domestic market, as a consumers, I need to pay more. If I need to pay more, it means I have to eat less. And that's why everything is linked. And that's why at FAO this year, on 29th of September to 1st of October, we will continue to echo the voice of livestock farmers, producers, and private sectors, how the future of livestock sectors will continue. And that's why at the Global Conference on Sustainable Livestock Transformation in FAO in Rome, we will have the Forum of Livestock CEO Forum, Farmers Producer Forum. Give you space to talk what you're going to make change, what you're going to transform your sectors. And that's why I think we need to join our effort. We need to work hand in hand. Because you are the one who going to tell the story, or you want to let someone to tell your story that you don't really want to hear. And that's why join us. And at the same time, here this year is very important, and that's why FAO, we will launch the Sustainable Poultry and Feed Initiative in Africa. We're going to have the first meeting with private sectors, bank, and also financial institution, and also with private sectors. How we're going to have Sustainable Poultry and Feed Initiative for Africa. And that's why we're going to have the International Forum to discuss on these issues in, I think in May, as far as I can recall, 7 to 8 of May in Uganda. And that's why we need to move the sector forward. We need to bring more investment to support the sector. And that's why all of you, I have a chance to talk during the lunchtime. Someone come from the equipment company, someone come from pharmaceutical company, someone come from poultry producers company. And that's why you are the one who producing. You are the one who have technology. You are the one who have innovation. Bring your innovation, bring your technology to transform the sector. And that's why this year at FAO, at our global conference on sustainable livestock transformation, we're focusing on fostering change, scaling innovation, and driving solution for better future of your sector. Thank you very much.
Obviously, a very, very welcome answer to the room there. But I'm gonna have a quick follow-up for you on that. All of the actions you're doing to FAO and other global organisations are doing over the coming years. We're an industry that is quite dynamic. It's fast-moving. It needs decisions quickly. Is the FAO moving fast enough? And can it move fast enough to support the industry?
Sure. You know very well you come from business. I myself used to work at the Ministry of Agriculture in Thailand before. And my role is international market access. And I know that from the business point of view, if you move slowly, someone who moves faster, because today is not big fish eat small fish, but fast fish can eat all. The more that you are faster than others, you will have more opportunity. And that's why we as an international organization in the UN system, I myself is new for this organization, even though before I joined FAO, I was the permanent representative, like ambassadors of Thailand to FAO. And I understand that if we continue the business as usual, it's too slow. And that's why we need to change, even though within FAO, last year, even though before the new administration, we know that something will happen. We immediately cut our budget 10%. Since last year already, at the end of last year, because we know the change will come. And that's why the decisions in our international organization, we need to move faster, because otherwise the UN system, people will say that now UN system is not relevant. And that's why for FAO, just last few weeks, the President Trump just appointed the new ambassadors of the US government to FAO. Why? Because food and agriculture is important. And also chicken, poultry, turkey, because we need to eat. And that's why you can see all the billionaires right now, instead of investing in NASDAQ or in the stock market, now they are investing in agriculture. It's not like skyrocket like IT stock, but it's continuously, even though 6-7% of benefit that you gain every year, you can continue because we still need to eat. We continue to eat. And that's why I'm not sure that I answer your question or not. But I'm sure that as an international organization, we also need to work faster. And that's why yesterday, because this week, we have the FAO Council meeting. And all the Minister of Agriculture, they came to FAO to talk what's the situation. And it's the same as the situation, I can give you some example. Sometimes, some issue we cannot talk loud. During the conflict in Ukraine, you know that Ukraine and Russia, all the wheat, sunflower seed, maize, and other grains and have to go through Black Sea. And during the crisis, everything stopped. Food price increased 100%, some country 200%. And it linked to your feed ingredient as well. And that's why during that times, we have a small group meeting to talk with our big countries, the country in the conflict, how we're going to manage to open the port and manage to have the ship to load all of those ingredients and export. But I cannot talk loud. I cannot go to CNN and BBC that FAO discuss on these issues to make sure that everything can continue smoothly. Sometimes, some issues, we need to do it quietly. As you have a business deal. You don't have a business deal in this meeting room. You will go somewhere at the corner. Or even though you will go somewhere in your very cozy restaurant and make a big deal. Yep, it's the same. Sometimes when you want to have a big deal, when you have to agree with something, my dear directors, Moroccan director, your country is very good. Now we need to continue to work together between Morocco and FAO or other organizations. And that's why we need to change the mindset. We need to change the attitude. And that's why, together with all of you, I'm sure that if we keep our speed, that we catch up with the speed of and dynamic of this world, I'm sure that we're still relevant and we still can support you more. And FAO will continue to work with all of you, and that's why FAO today, we call it, we have the private sector engagement policy. In the past, I know that private sector to talk with international organization is like, oh, it's a nightmare. You are bureaucracy, you are so on. But today, you see that last 2 weeks, our Director General, Dr. Chu Dong-chu, just have a meeting with all international private sector organization. Nicolo representing, oh, he's there. From International Poultry Council, we have a president of World Egg Commission, International Dairy Federation, International Feed Industry Federation, International Rendering Organization, International Tenors, and others. There are many, even though some of them, just my first time that I have a chance to meet. Because we need to talk with you. If we want to change, if we want to transform, if we want to see more action at the ground level, we need to talk with the real actor. And you, all of you, are real actor. And all of you are our champion. And that's why we need to talk and we need to work with you closely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, certainly I think we've got our strap line. I think many of us are going to remember fast fish eat all out of today. It's a good point, and obviously you've been talking about global scale, but Tawfik, looking at the national and regional scale, Morocco has, I think, an opportunity to take a leading role in sustainable poultry production. Is that the way you see it as the government of Morocco? And if so, how can you help others in the region take that sort of step forward as well?
Merci. J'avais du mal à écouter. Il parle très fort, mon ami de la FAO. Et je pense beaucoup de FAO ne sont pas uniquement des bons techniciens, mais c'est des passionnés. Je pense qu'il a mérité les applaudissements. Et donc, voilà. Maintenant, pour revenir au Maroc, je pense on a eu un décollage de l'agriculture dans le cadre du plan Maroc vert, donc dès 2008. Bon, il y avait la crise alimentaire et donc ça, on a initié un plan agricole baptisé plan Maroc vert. Aujourd'hui, ça continue sur la période 2020-2030 qui s'appelle Génération Green, avec des objectifs stratégiques bien tracés. On a mis en place les moyens qu'il faut, l'investissement public et le partenariat public-privé qu'il faut. Et je pense aujourd'hui, on commence à tirer profit de toute cette volonté. Le changement ne viendra pas d'un seul côté. Le changement doit venir aussi des stratégies publiques pour apporter ce changement. Je pense la dimension de la coopération dans le secteur agricole en général et le secteur de la volaille en particulier au Maroc, il est inscrit comme axe stratégique aujourd'hui dans notre stratégie. Il est appuyé par des organisations mondiales. On parle du FIDA, je ne sais pas s'ils sont avec nous, de la FAO, qui nous accompagne dans cette coopération. On ne se donne pas, on se projette pas en donneur de leçons, mais on essaie d'accompagner par rapport au niveau d'avancement auquel on est arrivé et de partager notre expérience avec les pays amis et frères. Mais aussi, c'est une opportunité d'investissement pour le secteur privé. Aujourd'hui, la FISA, elle fait un travail remarquable par rapport à ça. On a un centre spatial, il y a une visite qui est prévue au zoopôle de Wéjmar qui a été entièrement financé par le ministère de l'Agriculture, et aujourd'hui il est géré par la FISA. C'est là où il fait ses démonstrations, ses centres de formation. C'est un centre d'excellence. On reçoit chaque année beaucoup de techniciens, beaucoup d'ouvriers de pays africains. Pour montrer le chemin. Et je pense la coopération internationale vaut mieux la faire que de la subir. Je pense c'est une autre façon de faire de la diplomatie. C'est une autre façon, pour partager, pour rencontrer les hommes et les cultures dans ce monde. Et c'est une autre façon pour faire la paix et nourrir le monde. Merci.
Thank you. And both of your answers probably lead us very nicely into sort of another area of discussion about public-private action to grow sustainable food systems. To achieve food security and resilient agri-food, public and private must work together, as has already been said. If we try and do things on our own, it wastes time, it wastes resources. So, what are, over the next year, 2 years, how can public sector, and on the sort of local, regional, national, and also global, how can public sector support responsible investments to strengthen food production at every level, whether that's large commercial operations or smaller independent backyard production?
I can give you a very simple example, because I myself also come from poultry farms, because my previous life, my parents also have chicken farm in the south of Thailand. And I remember at that time, if you want to have a veterinary service or animal health service in the village, it's not easy. And at that time, 40 years ago, whatever company in Thailand, they will not invest the veterinary service at the ground level. But they also provide some technical service. And that's why the gap that we need support from the government to build the capacities, infrastructures, to build the animal health service at the ground level. Or even though you can see that in terms of laboratory, I'm sure that all of your company have your own laboratory, but the purpose just only for you. You don't provide service to your neighbor companies. But the government need to build these kind of laboratory capacities to support all. Small scale farmers, medium scale, or even the large scale, even though when it goes to the export, because all the products need to be certified by the central laboratory or government laboratory. And this kind of support or this kind of investment, you can show that how the public investment support the private sector. But at the same time, we know that sometimes the private sector, maybe in Brazil, in Thailand, in China, also doing something, work closely in terms of, for example, when you have the situation of avian influenza, you need to improve your surveillance system. But it's not only government, but private sector also need to increase your surveillance system. And that's why you need to share information. What happened in these farms, in these regions, you need to improve the early warning system, reporting system. And that's why in terms of public-private partnerships is very, very important. Or even though another example, I can give you, for example, like the situation of the problem of antimicrobial resistance. We know that the issue sometimes the business say, no, this issue is still far away. It's not become the trade barrier yet. But one day, when antimicrobial resistance that your importing countries say that all the meat exported from your country, I will come and check every piece of meat that whether contaminate with antimicrobial bacteria or not, will be a big issue for you. And also we need to set up the system. And that's why in this case, the public-private partnership and also the co-investment between government and private sector need to work closely to make sure that you are dealing with this situation together. And that's why I'm sure that all of you from business, you are influential people because you can talk with politicians. You can talk also with minister. And that's why sometimes you also influence to the national policy. And that's why in terms of close collaboration, close coordination, close communication, and build trust. Trust between public sector and private sectors is critical. But in some countries, in terms of collaboration between private sector and public sectors, it's not come to that level yet. And that's why in some countries, especially in conflict country that have war, have civil war or conflict, they still need to improve in terms of infrastructure. But for the country that in terms of trade, in terms of business, is already gone so far, the collaboration between and partnership between public and private is very critical to continue the business and to make sure that we can build a better future for the sector together.
Moi, je vais peut-être compléter ce qu'a dit mon collègue, c'est que je vais parler du cas marocain, c'est qu'on a toujours séparé le rôle du privé et le rôle du public. Au Maroc, depuis toujours, hein, c'est l'approche qui a été adoptée, c'est de confier la production agricole au secteur privé. L'État n'est pas chargé de produire, mais il est chargé de mettre en place l'environnement favorable à une production pour nourrir tout le pays, exporter l'excédent, ainsi de suite. Donc, je vais parler du concept du plan Maroc vert et de la génération green. Comme ça, je partage avec vous notre expérience. C'est avant de commencer peut-être à collaborer, je pense que le secteur public, il a un devoir de mettre en place un cadre stratégique, une vision, des objectifs stratégiques qui soient très clairs à atteindre, qui soient atteignables. Et ces objectifs-là sont en harmonie avec le développement du pays, ses capacités humaines et technologiques et financières. Et que ce secteur, je parle du développement agricole, qui soit en interaction avec les autres politiques sectorielles. L'agriculture ne se développe pas tout seul, on a besoin de routes, on a besoin de ports, on a besoin de... Voilà, pour développer aussi l'agriculture. Pour le secteur animal, je pense qu'on a besoin d'un très fort secteur au système de santé animale, parce qu'autrement tout peut s'effondrer. Et pour attirer le privé à investir et développer la production, on a besoin d'un système favorable à l'investissement et à l'innovation. Et je pense que c'est des choses qu'on oublie souvent dans certains cas de pays. On a cette impression qu'il suffit de ramener juste de l'argent et des hommes pour produire. Il faut protéger la propriété intellectuelle, il faut avoir le droit de posséder de la terre, des animaux, ainsi de suite. Il faut être soutenu aussi financièrement. Et je pense que le quatrième point, c'est on produit souvent pour nourrir d'abord sa propre population. Et à partir de là, il faut qu'on ait un marché qui soit libre et concurrentiel. Et comme ça, ce marché va pouvoir rémunérer tous les acteurs de la filière par rapport à juste valeur de ce qu'ils ont produit comme valeur ajoutée. Et Et c'est là où j'arrive le privé. Il faut avoir une organisation professionnelle qui soit forte, qui soit inclusive et qui soit représentative de la profession. C'est des choses qui peuvent arriver de manière graduelle. Une fois que nous avons ces éléments-là, ces 5 ou 6 éléments, moi j'appelle fondements ou piliers, je pense qu'on peut commencer à construire et à dissiper les divergences qu'il y a entre le secteur public et le secteur privé. Parce que les deux, c'est normal qu'ils n'ont pas les mêmes objectifs a priori. En fait, ils ont les mêmes objectifs, mais ils travaillent tous les deux sur des temps différents. Le temps du politique, il est différent du temps de l'investisseur, il est différent du temps de celui qui fait du développement. Et c'est ça ce qui crée, in fine, cette divergence. Au Maroc, ce qu'on a fait, c'est qu'on a contractualisé des programmes de développement, on les appelle des contrats-programmes, entre l'État, donc représenté par le ministère de l'Agriculture et éventuellement d'autres ministères, et les professionnels. Donc pour le cas de la volaille, on a contractualisé un programme avec la FISA, on a décliné quels étaient les objectifs opérationnels à atteindre. Et c'est là où on va trouver de la recherche-développement, de l'augmentation de production. En fait, les choses, on va dire, plus concrètes, le renforcement de la chaîne de valeur. Et c'est aussi au niveau de ces contrats-programmes, à partir de ces contrats naissent les incitations que l'État devrait mettre en place pour inciter le privé à aller plus rapidement dans ces investissements.